This is love.
Like me, do you like sex? And like me, do you give it your all in intercourse? Like me, do you tend to go 4 or 5, or even 7 times in a row, back to back? Well, if your answer to any of the foregoing is yes, you're probably familiar with a problem that has long troubled me. Roll montage. When 2 people engage in rigorous coitus, they invariably, or in any case generally, sweat a good deal. And as touching as this perspiration can be in the moment, both ourselves and our lovers are destined to come back to earth. And one of the first things we will notice upon doing so is that our bed linens are fucking soaked. We might just as well have stood up or squatted down and pissed all over our sleeping quarters before tucking in for the night. It's a problem, to be sure, but what's to be done? Picture, if you will, a large window with a retractable blind. If you're having trouble, I'll show you them here in full frontal as well as profile. Now, flip this window 90 degrees on its face and pull the blind out all the way, which gives you this. Alright, and now comes the critical step. Picture yourself having sex on top of this window and blind. Sex takes so many forms, but here's sort of what I have in mind. But naturally, you should picture yourself banging on top of a window and blind in whatever way you normally would. Now, I offer the image of a window and retractable blind only because it's a handy prop. Yes, much as a window blind is drawn out over a window, a sex sheet will be drawn out over your bed linens and mattress. And much as a blind can retract when morning comes, so too can your sex sheet when you do. Now, I have no interest in working through the particulars of design, but a few general considerations are worth noting. First of all, with respect to construction, the material used for the sex sheet itself will need to be impermeable to sweat, and a broad spectrum of other liquids, I suppose, whilst at the same time being comfortable, such that it cannot feel like plastic, say. It certainly can't chafe. Beyond this, the material needs to be tough because, yes, it's going to see a lot of action. And finally, the material needs to be washable.
Washable.
All of these specifications will doubtless be most easily realized through use of a multiply material, where one underlying layer offers impermeability as well as a durable structure, and an upper layer, adhered to the underlying layer, offers oh so smooth comfort. Alright, so turning to mechanics. The sex sheet, it seems to me, will need to be easily detachable from its housing mechanism for machine washing, because you're definitely going to want to wash this thing. For its part, the housing mechanism and the release and retraction functions it performs must be durable. In the case of the sex sheet, a manual retraction mechanism operated by a crank handle seems a reliable approach to me. I say this because, given the forces at play, the sheer thrust that the sex sheet system will be called upon to endure, something chintzy ain't gonna last. And needless to say, the retractable blind is anything but durable. I break them all the time. Generally only when I visit other people's houses, because I haven't owned one in years. Okay, now don't get me wrong, you could sub in an electrical motor to retract the sex sheet, pulling itself out from under you by brute force. Could even operate on a 1980s clap-on, clap-off technology. Well, that'd probably be a bad idea. Just sex can sound like very loud, very rapid clapping.
Woo-hoo.
Causing the sheet to retract prematurely. One obvious consideration when designing the sex sheet system will be to make the product as universal as possible. Though the range of bed designs in existence rules out complete universality, my sense is that a single design could accommodate most beds. Now, you might say, oh, gross, we're using a retractable sex sheet? Well, let's be fair, unless you're currently washing your linens every time you bang, you're already doing the same thing. Only difference is that, if and when you give it your all, you now are forced to sleep on sodden bed sheets. You might also ask what the fuck the deal is. I mean, let's be fair, the idea of laying down some sort of surface to fuck on isn't exactly novel. No, and the sex sheet, therefore, ain't exactly a giant leap for mankind. No, it's not. But it is a small step, building on the tradition established by the towel and the picnic blanket, and TP in the public loo, and the unfolded cardboard box. The sex sheet's small contribution relates to immediate, effortless accessibility of a fuck surface. And nowhere do such considerations for accessibility weigh heavier than in the realm of horniness. And there are a bunch of burning urethras and unborn babies who tell you the same.
No condom.
Oh, and unlike the towel or the cardboard box, the sex sheet will be offered in twin, queen, and king size, permitting you to make use of the entirety of your bed.
Your towel won't offer this, and neither will your lady's Sunday dress.
Now perhaps someone can find me this product. I did a wee bit of scouring, and it turned up nothing, but something tells me that something along the lines of what I describe is already out there. And in that case, do excuse me, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Chicka wow.